What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today I have your review of NXT and 205 Live. Now, before I begin, one quick announcement. So TLC is this Sunday, and I do plan on covering it. As always, I will be live tweeting throughout the pay-per-view, so follow me on Twitter to get my live tweets and live reactions and whatnot. Also, I will be doing live Who Should Win versus Who Will Win on my Instagram. That's right, I will be going live on Instagram Saturday night, 24 hours before TLC goes live. I will also be giving my quick thoughts on TLC right after the show is over, and that will be on IGTV. So be on the lookout for that. So live predictions on my Instagram live, and quick thoughts on my IGTV. Looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend on Instagram. But with that being said, let's dive right into this week's WWE Network shows, starting with NXT. So NXT did begin with the Undisputed Era coming out, and Adam Cole cutting a great promo on how amazing the Undisputed Era is. He makes the first ever New Year's resolution, and he resolves for the Undisputed Era to hold all the gold in NXT. I would very much like to see that, particularly Adam Cole, baby, with the NXT Championship. This brings out EC3, Bobby Fish's opponent, and these two have a mighty fine match. It was really good. Bobby Fish obviously employing his heelish tactics along with his cronies, the Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish, for the majority of this match, tried to go for the injured leg of EC3, but of course that didn't work for a while. We did get the whole, the heels distracting the face so that their friend can get the upper hand. We got quite a bit of those spots. EC3 did, of course, hit I'm going to just refer to it as a people's elbow. I know he calls it something else, but it is, in my book, it's a people's elbow. But the match ended in a similar fashion to the Adam Cole EC3 match, in which Bobby Fish went for his finisher, but EC3 got the roll up for the win. And afterwards, the Era came in and started beating down on EC3. And who came to his rescue but Heavy Machinery? We haven't seen these guys in a while. Otis Dozovich and Tucker Knight come in, take off their shirts, running around with their big beer bellies and just running into the ring and beating the crap out of the Undisputed Era and helping EC3 in the process. So obviously we know who the next feud for the Undisputed Era is. Personally, I still wish War Raiders won the titles off of the Era, but it looks like they're building them up really well, so that's fine. We'll see where this feud goes in the coming few weeks. We now get a rematch from 2 weeks ago. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch taking on the Mighty once again, and this one was a much better match than their one 2 weeks ago. This one had a lot more emotion in it, actually, and it felt like the stakes were a little bit higher. I just loved it. I think it was great. It was wonderful all around. I would suggest you go check this match out because it was really, really good. Burch and Lorcan started off really hot. The match kind of just picked up steam from the beginning, and it did not halt at all until the bell rang and the match was over. The faces working a lot faster and the heels trying to slow things down a little bit. It was all great stuff. I loved every bit of it. The match did end with Lorcan and Burch hitting a double team maneuver on one of the members of the Mighty to win the match, and no attack afterwards. So it looks like this feud is over. So I would love to see Burch and Lorcan maybe face off against the Forgotten Sons. Hey, I remembered them. The Forgotten Sons, I remembered them. We did have Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black cutting dueling promos in this episode. We had Johnny Gargano's promo first, where he cut it on his cell phone, very similar to how Tommaso Ciampa cuts his promos with the championship title. Interesting. Next week, Black and Gargano are going to go at it one more time inside of a steel cage, and Gargano basically reiterates that he's not scared of Black and that he's doing the right thing and that he did nothing wrong. Aleister Black says that Gargano is beyond absolution and that he will make sure that he fades to black for good. Both really good promos. Really enjoyed it. I am very excited for next week. So now we have 2 of the spots already filled up for the Fatal 4-Way match for the #1 contender for Shayna Baszler's NXT Women's title. We already have the EST of NXT, Bianca Belair, filling up one of the spots. And over the weekend, we had Lacey Evans, the lady of NXT, filling up the second spot via a live event. I really wish they would put out these matches on NXT television or on the WWE network, but whatever, it's all good. We now have our 3rd qualifying match. Mia Yim takes on Texas girl Reina Gonzalez. So it was a little bit hard for me to root against Reina just because, you know, she's from Texas, I'm from Texas. But then I reminded myself that Mia Yim is dating Keith Lee, who's also from Texas, so I can kind of forgive her. But this was a good match. Reina Gonzalez came out with a cowbell.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
The match ended with Mia Yim hitting the soul food onto Gonzalez, and for her to qualify to get the 3rd spot in the Fatal 4-Way match. I'm guessing that the final spot is going to go to either Io Shirai or Dakota Kai, or maybe a returning Kairi Sane. I'm not sure, because I feel that that storyline still has a ways to go, and what better way for it to end than with Kai or Io taking the title off of Shayna. I just think that would be an interesting turn of events. And now it is time for the main event, Ricochet's open challenge for the NXT North American title. And who answers this challenge but Prince Pretty himself, Tyler Breeze. He comes back home to NXT to face off against Ricochet for the North American title. And wow, I was impressed. I was just amazed throughout this entire match. I don't know what else to say. This also is a match that you absolutely must watch. Definitely both men having a lot of respect for each other. But of course, Ricochet kind of playing a bit of a heel here. He's had a bit of heelish tendencies here and there because, you know, there were points where the crowd was actually booing Ricochet because, you know, Tyler Breeze has returned and everything. So this was good. I really, really liked it. You know, there was even a part where Ricochet was telling Tyler Breeze, "This is my house now." Breeze did put on a very valiant effort. A lot of super kicks and a lot of big boots from Ricochet. Good, great stuff. But ultimately, the one and only finally overcame Prince Pretty. And, you know, this was great. I loved it. Ricochet won. He retained. That's what I meant to say. So NXT ended with Breeze and Ricochet shaking hands. I know this was a one-off thing, but I really, really hope that Tyler Breeze kind of comes to NXT and kind of stays there for a little bit, at least until Fandango is cleared. And then Fandango can come to NXT and we can have the Fashion Police on NXT again. And maybe we'll get the return of the Fashion Files. Who knows? I mean, I'm just excited. I really do want to see Tyler Breeze in a much more prominent role in WWE. I think NXT would be a great way for him to do that. That's pretty much it for NXT. Let's move on to 205 Live. 205 Live began with the Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy. He was originally supposed to have a match against the Scottish Supernova Noam Dar, but unfortunately he did get injured and is not medically cleared to compete. So speedy recovery, Noam Dar. We hope to see you in a ring very soon. His replacement was Grand Metalik of the Lucha House Party, and this was also a really good match. I still enjoyed this one. However, I do feel it was a tad bit repetitive because Grand Metalik did try to get a bunch of roll-ups in and just really going for that upset victory throughout the majority of this match. But there was a really cool spot I do want to talk about. Murphy and Metalik on the outside. Grand Metalik getting on the guardrail and walking and hitting a Hurricane Rana onto Buddy Murphy. This was all great stuff. Other than that, I don't really know what else I can say. I mean, good match. I really enjoyed it. Not to take anything away from it, but again, felt a little repetitive for me. But the match did end with Buddy Murphy finally hitting the Murphy's Law onto Grand Metalik to win the match. So we only have one more match to talk about, but before that, a couple of promos and interviews. Brian Kendrick, Akira Tozawa, and the general manager Drake Maverick. He says that they're going to have a street fight next week with the Submission Commission. That's what Drew Gulak and Gentleman Jack Gallagher call themselves now. Brian Kendrick talks about how he's changed as a man. He doesn't manipulate people anymore, and that he manipulated Tozawa a lot and everything. Akira says, yeah, you've changed, but you still look the same. Come with me. It looks like maybe, I don't know, Kendrick's going to get new attire. That would be cool. I'd like to see that. Tozawa comes back to rib on Drake Maverick for the AOP losing the Raw Tag Team titles because that happened. We had a response from the Submission Commission saying that they're going to tap out Kendrick and Tozawa. That was cool. Arya Daivari gave an interview, and he was talking about how wrestling used to be about two real men getting in there and the better man would come out on top, but now it's all about the flashy lights and the social media and everything else. There's not what happened to real men. That's why I respect Hideo Itami. Itami comes out, offers Daivari a handshake, and goes away. So it looks like that partnership is brewing, and we're finally going to see these two in a tag team setting, so that should be interesting. And now it is time for our main event. Cedric Alexander taking on Tony Nese in a match from a month ago in which Tony Nese did defeat and humiliate Cedric Alexander. This was fan-freaking-tastic. A lot of good storytelling here. Great maneuvers. I am so impressed with Tony Nese. For essentially a pretty big guy, he's able to do the acrobatics flawlessly. And I love the argument how some people say, oh, I don't watch 205 Live, it's just a bunch of flippy shit. Well, no, it's not. If you watch this match, especially, you will see that yes, there is flippy shit going on here, but it's way more than that because they can tell really good stories within these matches. And of course, Cedric Alexander's resolve to get back to his winning ways again was a prominent factor in this match, thus adding to the enjoyment of this match. And now we had quite a bit of flatliners in this match. Flatliner City. Cedric Alexander took Nese to Flatliner City. It was great though. I did like it. Tony Nese even got in Alexander's face saying that I'm better than you. I would love to see him say that to MJF. I don't think he will take it very well. The match did end with Cedric Alexander finally hitting the lumbar check onto Tony Nese and overcoming that hurdle before this Sunday when Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy are going to have a rematch for the Cruiserweight title. 205 Live did end with Buddy Murphy coming out, getting into the ring, and getting in Alexander's face. Alexander, of course, in the end, stood tall. So this was cool. I'm really excited. So that's two matches I'm looking forward to in TLC. Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title. And, of course, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins for the IC title. Even though that feud has become a bit meh, I'm still excited because I love both those superstars. So that's how 205 Live ended. So I would say NXT was a very good show, and 205 Live also was very solid. Matches of the night for me in NXT absolutely goes to the North American title match. Ricochet versus a returning Tyler Breeze. Again, I do hope Tyler Breeze has a more prominent role in NXT or a more permanent role in NXT. The 205 Live, Cedric Alexander versus Tony Nese. And let me just say this. This match was definitely 50-50 booking, essentially. But here's the thing. They did it with a purpose. In the first match, Alexander lost and was humiliated by Tony Nese, and he finally has gotten his redemption with this win over Tony. And it is, like I said, the final hurdle he needed to cross before he went into TLC to face off against Buddy Murphy. So there's a lot of emotion, a lot more depth to why they did this 50-50 booking. I really wish the main roster, especially Raw, would take some notes, but we all know about Vince McMahon. So that pretty much concludes my thoughts on NXT and 205 Live for this week. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, be sure to tune in this weekend on Instagram. As I mentioned, I will be live on Saturday, and I will be giving my quick thoughts on Sunday for TLC. So be on the lookout for that. I'll see you there this weekend. But until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. This is Sid, signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.